Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course, stream for fun. Today I was just kind of curious, and I've been thinking about it. It's like, who is Asha Sharma? She's the new CEO of Microsoft Gaming. So anyway, this is very interesting to read because you're going to see that she's a really busy person. Now, she's she's 36 years old. Okay, she's slightly older than I am. I'm going to be 36 in a few months. And so she was probably born in 89, is my guess. And her career is really busy and started in 2011. So from 2011 to today, we're looking at roughly 15 years. So that's not very long for everything that we're going to go over. So in 2011, she started in marketing team at Microsoft. She was only there for a couple of years. There's this gap of 2 years between 13 to 15. In 15, she joined a startup called Porch Group, and she was the chief operating officer. So she got in on that actually pretty quickly, and then she also became a board member of that IPO until 2022. So keep that in the back of your mind. While she's also the board member, I don't think that she was the chief operating officer during that entire time because she joined Meta in 2017, but she stayed as a board member, which is kind of insane because now she's doing two jobs. But yeah, she worked from 17 to 2021, so roughly 4 years. She worked on Messenger, Instagram Direct, calling and video services, and kid experiences. She was over all of that, and then also bringing new stuff actually to Meta. With Instacart, she started in 2021. So this was last updated June 22, 2021. And this is basically the welcoming letter as COO of Instacart. And yeah, she worked on overseeing Instacart Marketplace, which includes Instacart app, logistics, growth, and marketing. That's where she was focused. And yeah, she did that and she was the vice president of product, basically, products and services. So eventually she leaves Instacart, and she's only there for, again, a few years, and then in 2024 she returns back to Microsoft to work on the core AI department, and she's working on AI models, applications, agents, which actually one of my brothers uses, and then responsible for AI framework and developer tools. And there's actually way more than that. If you actually go to Microsoft's website, maybe I should have pulled that up and actually take a look at everything that she's responsible for. It's kind of insane. The other thing that I think is crazy is, again, she's started in 2024. Well, she becomes a board of director under Home Depot in 2025. So she's been with Microsoft. She's back at Microsoft for roughly a year. And then yeah, that's not enough to keep her busy. So then she becomes a board of director at Home Depot and still is a board of a director, which is wild. She also studied at University of Minnesota, the Carlson School of Management. She graduated with a bachelor's of science, which, if we're doing the math right, she roughly did at a maximum of 4 years, maybe three and a half, if we're going through the timeline. And the tuition costs are not necessarily cheap either. Now, of course, she would have done this, 15 years ago, almost kind of getting closer to almost 20, starting if she was 18. But she probably did start when she was 18 years old, and then through age of 21, 22 years old, graduated with her Bachelor of Science. But the current cost is a little bit more expensive than what the current cost is for a university in my neck of the woods. And it's not like super prestigious or whatever, but I imagine, too, the tuition here on average is more expensive in my state because the cost of living is more than over in Minnesota. So yeah, that is just very interesting. And the thing that I'm getting from all of this is that she's what we would call like an overachiever. Okay, she likes to stay busy. She's probably a type A personality. She likes the challenge and tackling stuff. And good gravy. Like she is, and then too, she doesn't stay in one place for very long. I think that's the other thing that's interesting. Maybe she's a board of director for a while. Okay, she's probably going to be a board of director at Home Depot for a while. But now in 2026, she's now the head of Microsoft Gaming, and she's actually doing two jobs because she replaced both Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. I don't think there's going to be a replacement for Sarah Bond's position. Excuse me, which was Xbox Gaming. Xbox Gaming has actually been removed, which I think it's interesting. No one's talked about that yet. Now it's just complete Microsoft Gaming. So she's doing two job titles essentially, or two layers of work there for two people, while she is still a board of director for Home Depot. So, yeah, very interesting. How she handles it all, I don't know, but I don't have any doubt that she's going to help Microsoft make money. And that doesn't necessarily mean that things are going to go in the direction that us OG gamers would like it to go. But Satya Nadella is still the head, really, of Microsoft Gaming, still making the decisions. And I think she's going to fit right in line with that. And her job is basically to help push Xbox forward. Whatever exactly that's going to look like, I still think we're going to have a next gen console. I still think that's coming because it takes forever to actually build that out, and they're not going to throw away just almost probably 4 or 5 years of work and all of the parts that they've done. Because my guess still is that it's coming in 2028, and I still think the PlayStation 6 is going to come around 27, 28, 29. They're usually either within a year on either side of when Xbox comes out, or vice versa. They're usually not very far apart. So I still think we're going to get the next gen Xbox. I still think there's going to be some other stuff down the road. Not to say that some things won't change, but her job is going to be to guide Xbox into the money. That's going to be her role, and making sure to foster talent and stuff. Like, she already hired and promoted Matt Booty. It wasn't Satya Nadella, it was her. That means that she got the position and very quickly hired and promoted Matt Booty into his position as content officer. So she's taking someone that's already has experience, that's already been a part of the job, to help her understand gaming, right? Xbox gaming. And yeah, they're going to work in tandem to ultimately make everything we're going to see. Now, the legacy of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond is going to continue to be seen for, I think, the next at least couple of years. With the games, with the hardware, with the stuff in the pipeline for game services like Game Pass and Play Anywhere and cloud gaming, all of that. We're still going to see some legacy from that because there's lag time with starting things and getting the ball rolling and implementing stuff. But yeah, definitely by 2028, Asha Sharma and Matt Booty, they're going to start their own legacy. And we'll have to see, we'll kind of have to see what happens. I'm very curious. I'm concerned and worried too. But after looking at her rap sheet, I have no doubt that she's definitely going to be at work. I have no doubt. I mean, to literally finish a Bachelor of Science in 4 years or less is crazy. And then to literally start right out of the gate working at Microsoft for your first job, your first career job. I mean, let's be serious. That was even a dream, back a decade or a decade and a half ago. So to land that is pretty good. And then she is constantly moving all over the place. The thing that I am curious about too is, since she likes to move from place to place, because again, we're talking about Microsoft marketing, Meta, the Porch Group startup, Instacart. It's like, okay, well, that's 4 places in roughly 15 years. So that's a very quick average. Again, she doesn't stay in one particular place for very long. So is she going to stay at Microsoft? I don't know. She's already been there for 2 years. on the core AI department, and she's already changed departments. So is she going to stay as the head of? I don't know. And ultimately, I think her goal, with all of the movement that she's doing, I think her goal is ultimately to push herself into a true CEO or president role of an entire company, like Satya Nadella. I think that's what she's really gunning for. Because if you really enjoy the company that you're working for, if you're really enjoying what you're doing, you usually tend to stay there. You're content, right? And but her movement of just a few years on average, moving to something else, stacking more credentials and being on more boards, and then being on boards while she's also doing a full-time job. Like, she is a busy bee. She is incredibly busy. So I don't know, but yeah, her private life, very private. It's incredibly hard to find anything. Even just trying to figure out her age has been a little tough. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. But yeah, she knows she's got to learn the business, and she's learned the other businesses, like with AI, with Meta, with Instacart, with the I think it's an insurance group, Porch Group, the startup, and working with the marketing team. But again, she doesn't stay there for very long. So we'll see if she actually stays. Because if, let's say, she's gone, then who takes over? Maybe then Xbox is just killed off. Maybe it's just then given to Matt Booty. Maybe they bring in just someone totally new. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, what do you think? I don't know. I think a lot of people are shaken. I think a lot of people are worried. Nobody knows who she is. She's got to earn the trust of the community. I hope she understands that. She probably does. But again, she is still directly under Nadella. She answers to him. So that's not going to change. And so Nadella is going to become more important than us. We already felt that with toward the end of Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond. But at least they actually played some video games, especially Phil. And the thing with Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, especially with what we're hearing now, is how personal they were. Is she personal, or is she more corporate? I'm guessing more corporate. And so things might feel a little more cold. Things might feel a little more corporate going forward. And that worries me. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you on the next one.